Here with, I've got Kirk from Nintendo of America, Publisher and Developer Relations, and our very special guests, we have Harry and Gary, designers from Playtonic, to show us some ukulele and the impossible Lair.
That is absolutely right, yeah. Thank you so much for having us here today.
Yeah, you bet.
So let's just jump straight in. Ukulele and the impossible Lair. Excuse me. Ukulele back on a brand new adventure, and as you can see, this time it's a 2D platform game rather than a 3D, which the original one was.
Awesome.
And the story is that Capital B, the corporate evil overlord, he's back and up to his old tricks, and he's taken over the Kingdom of the Bees, which is called the Royal Stingdom, using a mind control device called the Hive Mind. And Queen Phoebe, there's an awful lot of bee puns in this, so you just have to kind of bear with me and like roll with it. So
wait, bear with me. That's also kind of bee related. I see what you're doing.
Just be yourself.
Very good. Yeah. Let's see how many we can fit in here.
There you go.
But yeah, so Queen Phoebe, she's not too happy with that, and she's enlisted the help of Yooka and Laylee to get involved and take down Capital B and save the day. Now, the game's called Ukulele and the Impossible Lair because not only has Capital B sort of taken over the Bee Kingdom, he's also built himself a brand new lair. And this is actually one of the levels of the game, and he's calling it the Impossible Lair because it's basically designed to destroy anyone who dares go into it. And in fact, he's so convinced in the impossibility of this lair that he's actually just left the front door wide open. And from the very beginning of the game, Yooka and Laylee can actually go straight into the impossible lair and take it down. And actually, that's all you need to do. To finish the game, you just need to take down, go through the impossible lair and take down Capital B. But there is a problem.
Not so simple.
Yeah, it's called the impossible lair for a reason, because it is by far the most difficult level in the game. It's about 4 times longer than any other level.
Wow.
It's got pretty much every enemy and every hazard from the entire game just like crammed into one space, all organized in a way that's really designed to just completely destroy you. And there are no checkpoints.
So you can give it a shot if you're confident in your ability to somehow know everything you need to know without actually having learned it yet.
Yeah, and if you've got the skills, but the thing is though, with that being the only thing you've got to do is finish the game, how do you finish the game? So one option is like get good, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's an option, and you know that's something we think some people are going to do. They're just going to be like, yeah, okay, I'm going to keep going through this until I can beat this lair. But for sort of people like me, at least, if you don't want to sort of destroy your TV and your console, there is, thankfully, another way of getting through this lair, and actually that's why Yooka and Laylee are going on this adventure, because at the end of every single level, there is a bee that's been imprisoned.
Okay.
But these are no ordinary bees. These are members of Queen Phoebe's royal guard, the Bee Battalion, and they're basically the most awesome bees in the entire Bee Kingdom, and when you free them, they'll actually go with Yooka and Laylee into the impossible lair and help you out. And the way in which they help you out is that every bee will take 1 hit on behalf of Yooka and Laylee. They'll kind of just dive on the grenade and to help you get through it. And so, as you can imagine, the more levels you complete, the more bees you get, the more bees you get, the more hits you can take, and the more hits you can take, the more possible the impossible lair becomes.
I like it.
And that is kind of the general overview of the game and why it's called Ukulele and the Impossible Lair.
So if I collect 5 bees, I can take 5 hits.
Exactly, yeah. That's
Got
right.
it, okay.
And they'll take any kind of hit as well. So if you kind of get, blown up by something, that'll knock one of them out who'll fall to the floor. But also if you fall to your death down a death drop, like one of the guys will sort of grab you and like pull you up and sort of drop you on the side, and then they'll pass out because, he's putting a lot of work there.
Very tired,
He's very tired, yeah. But so they're really useful, and there's a total of 48 that you can get. So eventually, if you play through enough levels, you will get a lot more chances.
And that makes the impossible lair actually possible.
Absolutely,
with 48 hits.
With 48 hits. That's what we hope anyway.
That's pretty cool. So let's talk a little bit about the development process and your role in the development.
Yeah, sure.
For the fans, I'm pretty sure they want to know exactly what you do.
Yeah, totally. So Gary and I are both designers, and I've one of the major things I've been looking at is the gameplay mechanics, which is just like the general handling of Yooka and Laylee, the moveset, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And so my role is kind of just making it just feel super, super smooth to play. And like the word we've been using in development of this game to describe the mechanics is fluid. Like we just want it to feel like really silky smooth. And it's kind of really interesting when you watch a beginner playing this game. They kind of sort of walk through the game and stop and jump on an enemy, but the better you get at the game, you kind of find that people start to gradually glide through the levels, and they start chaining moves together and boosting through. And so you could really see there's a big difference between an advanced player and a beginning player. And the advanced players just end up looking that much more cool. They just smoothly go through the game, getting this state of flow. It's really cool. So see, I've done gameplay mechanics, and Gary's just done tons of the levels. In fact, he's done all the levels that we're playing. So he's gonna ace them, and it's gonna be no problem.
Yeah. So talk to us about this area we're now. This looks a little different than where we just were.
Yeah, you're right. So this is one of the things we're really excited about this game. It's like a major addition to the game. It's called the Overworld, and I would completely understand if you immediately looked at this and thought, okay, it's a nice looking map screen, that's cool, go from level to level. But actually, we've put so much into the Overworld, and it's so much more than that. And we've been describing it as a mini adventure game in its own right, because there's just so much stuff to see and do in here. So, you've got all sorts of really varied locations to visit. There's tons of characters to meet and interact with. They've got all problems they need solving. There's loads of puzzles, which you kind of see as we go through. There's tons of puzzles to sort of get through. And there's loads of secrets. And it's just a really nice place to kind of hang out in between levels. And it's also a really great place to kind of get a bunch of that ukulele charm, because we really wanted the game to have the characters that people love from the previous game come back, and new characters as well. And they don't really make sense in a 2D level. You're kind of focusing on getting through the level. You don't want to stop and talk to people all the time. So it's a really nice place to just sort of just chill out and hang out with all the characters.
Yeah, it's a different pace, a different vibe. I like how it mixes up between that fluid, sort of fast-moving.
Yeah.
One point to another gameplay and just kind of getting to chill out.
Exactly, and we find that it really kind of complements the 2D levels quite nicely, because when you're playing a 2D platform, you're doing level, and eventually your heart's going and the adrenaline's and you're like, okay, I just need to take a step back now and calm down. And the Overworld really represents that kind of, go and get a cup of tea and just have a little. I can't use the word potter, just have a little potter around the Overworld, just what's through this passageway, can I get up there? It's a really nice place to just explore and have a bit of downtime and just chill out.
I
like
look
that,
at
potter.
it.
I'm going to use that too.
Yeah, you can't say it like he can.
Pootle is another word I like to use.
I look at it as an opportunity to hand the controller to one of my kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Just kind of say, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here, try this, and he can just kind of mess around in the Overworld.
That's it, and go and find all the secrets for me.
Sure.
I'm going to lay down.
So it looks like I see a challenge level Gary just entered. What's going on there?
Yeah, that's right. So that was a Pagey, and in the original game, Pageys expanded the size of the levels. In this game, Pages do something slightly different. So they offer you a little challenge, and as you can see, it's just a single screen, very brief challenge that sort of...
Oh, he won.
He's a pro.
Wow, does he work on your team?
He designed it. He knew how it worked.
I think so. Just sneak.
I've never played it before.
But yeah, so Gary completed that challenge, and like I said, the challenge is kind of really simple little challenges. They kind of test your ability with a gameplay mechanic. So that one was about rolling, for example. Oh, we should just appreciate this moment, sorry.
Pagey power.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Now the visuals in this are just stunning.
Yeah.
The colors and the way everything comes together and the depth. This is definitely a level up for you guys. In this game.
Absolutely. I really think our art team have surpassed themselves in this game. It does look beautiful, and the music as well. Being led by Dave Wise and Grant Kirkhope. We've got some absolutely beautiful tunes in the game.
Yeah, and I think we're actually going to hop to. So we're going to move on from the Overworld and hop over to a different level, I believe.
That's right. Yeah. So this is going to be level 3. Here we go. Right. Cool. Yeah. Level 3. So moved a bit further through the game now and get a bit more challenging. And obviously you can see we're introducing new enemies. So we've got spiders, a few new mechanics, stuff like ropes and whatever. But one of the main things you kind of notice here is the level is very different looking to the original. And that's one of the key things that we're aiming to achieve with this game. We wanted a real variety of locations. So no two levels really share that much. We really wanted to explore all sorts of places that could be in this Bee Kingdom. So we've got town, we've got forest here, we've got factory, we've even got a zeppelin in the sky. There's so many different crazy locations that players are going to be visiting and hopefully sort of really enjoying exploring this Bee Kingdom.
That's so cool, and I love how the save point kind of scans your body.
Yeah, that's it.
And it kind of gives you an imprint of your body as you go through it. Right. That's really neat.
And of course he's got eyes because...
Of course.
Could you talk a little bit too about our heroes, Yooka? It's Yooka and Laylee.
That's right, yeah.
Sort of how they have a relationship that goes beyond just hanging out together as they go through the levels.
Yeah, well, they're best friends. So yeah, for people who don't know Yooka-Laylee, Yooka, he's the green chameleon, and Laylee, she's the purple bat, and she's kind of a bit sassy, and he's a bit more chilled out. And yeah, kind of individually, they're pretty legit heroes anyway. I think we could have probably made a reasonable game by either one of them, but together, they kind of form this unstoppable team, which is Yooka. And hopefully, that's kind of encapsulated in the way the game plays as well. Like, if you look at the way the moves are set up, it's all about teamwork. You know, you can see that when Yooka jumps and Laylee spins, it's all about Yooka doing something that Laylee contributes to, and they really are sort of better together.
But you could actually lose one of them, and then
that's absolutely right. Yeah, that's true. So we don't have a health system or a life system in this game. If you take a hit, what happens is that Laylee is knocked from Yooka's shoulders, and she kind of flies around the place where you took the damage, and in a bit of a daze because she's just been hit, and you've got a small window of time in which to catch her. And if you catch her, that's cool. You can carry her in the adventure, no problems. But if you don't catch her, she'll actually. Oh, Gary!
Looks like Gary got a little greedy there.
Exactly, yeah. And Gary made this level, so...
Yeah,
come on,
the level designer tries to... Yeah.
Yeah, if you lose Laylee, then you've got to continue on your own as Yooka. And what you find is that actually the game becomes that bit more challenging because, firstly, if you take another hit, you're going to die. And secondly, you lose a bunch of the abilities that you've become reliant on. So the twirl jump that Gary's doing there's a ground pound move, and there's a boosted version of the roll. Those three moves just go away with Laylee. She sort of flies off with them.
Ah, okay.
And
so it enhances your move set.
Yeah, Laylee does.
If you have both of them together.
Exactly, but when you lose her, you're kind of down to just Yooka.
Become a little stiff.
That's it, and you really find you become a lot more tense, and like when the platforming sections come up, you sort of palms sort of get a bit sweaty.
Some of those moves you mentioned, like the flutter jump, the flutter jump will always kind of get you out of trouble. It can make you can make that adjustment you need when you don't nail the jump, and suddenly you don't have that.
Exactly, so. And sometimes you forget as well, and so you'll just be going through, and you're like, yeah, press the button to, oh, hang on, she's gone. Yeah.
I love the 3D nature of this while the characters come into the screen.
Yeah, it's really fun when a character dies and just flies by the camera.
It's really cool looking.
All the secrets in the game as well are kind of slightly telegraphed using that sort of 2.5D perspective. So we have walls that fake walls,
right?
And you can just, if you're careful, if you're observant, you can just see that there's actually a room behind it.
Past it, right?
Yeah. So you kind of keep your eyes peeled. There's a lot of like hidden areas within the levels themselves, and if you keep your eyes peeled, you can.
Oh, look, he made the level.
Like we've got another member of our level.
Yeah.
So we've got another member of our battalion, I think we've rescued
That's
here.
right, yeah, we have. So, Buzzer Khan. Some of them have got some very strange names.
So now we can take 2 hits, 1 hit in the impossible lair. Or is it 2? Do we have 2 Bs
We've
now?
got 2 Bs now, so we can take 2 hits. And then, of course, you've got the sort of generally taking a hit with Yooka, and she flies away, Laylee, she flies away and catch her back.
Have you actually seen someone defeat the impossible lair the first time? You have?
I have, yeah. We can confirm it is possible.
It's the impossible lair is possible
yeah,
without
exactly.
taking a hit.
Capital B says it's impossible, but Platonic says, no, it has to be possible.
Okay.
There's no way we were going to make a level that was like actually impossible.
Right.
I don't think that'd be so much fun.
So where is that lair? We're sort of seeing like almost like a mini map.
Yeah,
here.
that's right. So this is where the lair was. It's just up here. So it's actually just to the north of level 1. So we started just south of there. That's level 1, and you can see just north of there. That's the impossible lair. We've had 1 attempt already today, as you can see from the UI, and we got 0% of the way through. So pretty pleased with that.
This map is beautiful. I like how the trees are sort of, they almost kind of look like that classic sort of pixel art.
Yeah. And it gives you a sense of how big the overworld is as well.
Yeah,
in fact,
huge.
we just quickly hop back to it, and we can zoom out of the map. You can just see how big the overworld actually is. So it's a really sizable experience, and there's like I said, it's just full of stuff to see and do, and tons of secrets. So yeah. Right,
and earlier you were talking about, when we were off to the side, you were talking about some of the levels and how they have different dimensions to them.
Yes. So, well, let's have a look at that then. So we're going to solve one of the overworld puzzles, and as a result of doing that, we'll kind of trigger something quite special to happen, and we'll kind of talk about that. So this is what we're going to do now. Guys, we're going to do the slightly more involved puzzle in the overworld. So the first one, it was more straightforward. This is a bit later in the game, so we're going to go ahead. You can see he's spent some quills to open that cage. So quills are really the currency of Yooka and Laylee, and they're used in the overworld for things like opening cages, but there's also a shop that sells some pretty cool stuff that we're not talking about today, but hopefully people are going to really like the stuff that you can get in the overworld and take them back into the 2D levels. There's like a lot of back and forth between the overworld and the 2D levels, and we're really keen to ensure that it felt like one cohesive experience rather than 2 disparate ones. So there's constantly back and forth between the overworld and the 2D levels. So that's great. He killed the 5 enemies. He's got himself another key.
I love how he holds the key in his mouth and gets it with his tongue.
I know. It's pretty grim. It's not particularly hygienic, I don't think.
No.
It's brass, maybe. Brass, I think, is
It's pretty
hygienic.
clean.
Oh, well, okay. That's good.
You guys have pulled out all the stops here with the detail. It's great.
Yeah, yeah. So this guy here, you can see this is a character as well. He's called Rampo. Now, we could sit and chat with him, but I don't think we've got time to. He goes on a bit. So, but we could sit and chat with him, and he's actually a returning character. So he was a boss from the previous game, and something.
Can't pick the key up.
Can't pick the key up. This is a really difficult puzzle because Gary can't pick the key up.
You have an impossible layer and an
It's definitely
impossible
And it's a
puzzle.
possible
Yeah.
game. Yeah, yeah, okay. So we may have to cheat somewhat with this puzzle. Just gonna
Imagine I've got the key and
Yeah,
now through the
Aha.
door.
through the door.
Yes.
Okay, good. And then there's an area here that we kind of want to get through. You can see there's these like things that need to come down. It's like a little bridge because that's the only way we can get to this key. If we can pick that key up.
Well,
Fingers crossed.
Well, we'll find out.
We will find out live on stream. It's very exciting.
Yes.
So this is another little puzzle you can see marked out on the top of this platform. It actually shows the way you've got to swim underneath.
A bit of a hidden, not hidden thing.
Exactly.
Pathway.
And like, you know, all the puzzles in the overworld, it's not working.
No.
You know what? We would have loved to show you this puzzle.
It's all right. It's Gary and the Impossible Puzzle.
It
Yeah,
is
that's
going
right.
an impossible puzzle. So, well, we'll just talk about what would have happened. So he would have flicked this switch, this would have come down, he would pick this key up, and we would go this way.
I like that swimming mechanic too.
Yeah,
like
it's really fluid, yeah.
So how long have you guys been working on this? I mean, you obviously started after the first ukulele.
Yeah, that's right. So a small group of people right after ukulele started working on the game. And then gradually, as we finished supporting ukulele, the sort of team started to ramp up and yeah, and then at the moment now we've got 30 people at Platonic, so we're kind of in a really good position to sort of take on any type of game, and so this one's been a really smooth sort of nice transition out of Yooka 1 and onto this one.
And one other thing I've been enjoying in my headphones has been the music of the game. Could you talk a little bit about the music that we've been hearing? As we've been hearing?
Absolutely. So Dave Wise and Grant Kirkhope, they kind of lead the music on this game, and the number of times I come back from work and just driving home, and I just got one of the level songs stuck in my head, and or like when a new tune comes out, like when they do a new tune for a level, and I'm just like, oh wow, that's so awesome. And then they'll do an updated version of, oh man, that's even more awesome. So one of the things that I've not spoken about, because unfortunately the impossible puzzle has tripped us up a little bit, is that what would have happened there is that Gary would have smashed Rampo's teeth, which is something that happened in the original game. We do it again in this game. Poor Rampo. Smashed his teeth, and it would have made the river flood into the level entrance where we were stood outside. And what that would have done is it would have unlocked the second version of the level, because in Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, there are actually two versions of every single level. The original version that you find by default, and then a transformed version of the level that you access as a result of solving a puzzle in the overworld nearby. So that was the puzzle nearby that level entrance that we were solving, and it unlocked the second state. Now, what that would have done in that level, so the original version of that level is like very dry, very barren, all the plants are kind of withered and whatever, and when you flood the level with water, everything gets watered, the whole level is raining, plants grow, there's all sorts of different things, and the transformations of the levels are really significant. So the one for this level actually becomes a swimming level.
Okay.
And the town that we were in earlier gets completely destroyed. There's even a level where the first version of the level is like walking horizontally, and we flip it vertically, and you actually end up climbing the level. So every single level in this game has a transformed version that's significantly different in every respect. There's new artwork, everyone's got new music, new enemies, new structure of the level. It really is completely transforms the game. So although the game has 20 levels in theory, every level has a second version, so
That's
in
really
reality,
cool.
it's more like there's 40. And we really hope players are going to enjoy playing the first version of the level, and then kind of wondering to themselves, I wonder how this is going to change. What's the transformed version going to be? And then we think it's going to be constantly surprising for them to see. Oh, okay.
Sounds like it's going to be. You guys have actually made 40 levels. Right?
Exactly, yeah,
You've done
that's
right?
absolutely right. And it's another example of how, what you do in the 2D levels and the overworld, they're kind of back and forth. So, you solve a puzzle in the overworld to unlock a new version of the 2D level, and then you're playing that version of the 2D level, get a bee, get some quills, spend them in the overworld, back into... So there's constant sort of fluid back and forth between these two experiences.
So much to do.
And there's so much just thought and attention to detail in these levels. Everything has a purpose. Even the platforms that fall away, they were tied up with ropes and knots. There's nothing that's just there and isn't sort of connected to the larger structure, which I love.
Yeah, we wanted the place to feel really solid and real.
It really does. It feels
yeah.
like every level is an actual physical thing.
Yeah, totally. This is a great bit. You expect to be going left, and then
Oh boy.
Like those giant,
Oh,
those are
boy.
very friendly-looking giant like saw blades of doom. You know.
It
Yeah,
still
it's
looks like
glowing
it
in red and
hurts.
oh no.
Yeah. Ooh, gosh.
oh, Gary, go for it, go for it.
Gary, you're doing a great job
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, this is certainly one of the tricky levels. You got to take your
That's
time.
really cool. So what's the bell do? It's like another checkpoint?
So yeah, sorry, the bell is where you can regain Laylee. So if you lose her and you're
Aha.
off as Yooka on his own, you can get Laylee again using that bell.
There's so much. Fans are really going to love this.
Yeah, I always love these guys. These are called Ghost Quills,
Uh-huh.
and each one sort of represents a bit of a risk-reward challenge for players.
Oh, cool.
And so you can see that in triggering this, he's vomiting quills
Yes.
all over this area, and it kind of really pushes you to take risks in order to get a large number of quills. And this is awesome as well. Just love just.
Oh, those guys
absolutely
are so cool looking.
just-
What are they
just
called?
hang them. They're called minions.
Minions.
It's a word that, like, when it's written down, it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then you try and say it, and you just feel really weird.
Right.
Minions.
Minions.
Yeah.
So we're almost out of time for this segment, but I think we're going to see one last member of the battalion be rescued here very
Yeah,
shortly.
Gary's. Actually, probably take a little longer.
Gary's having a great day. But
Yeah,
wow,
yeah,
look at that.
he's nailing it now,
There's
yeah.
another one. And he just kind of throws up.
Yeah, that's it. And there's actually 5 different types, so there's 5 different colors, so he kind of throws them up all over the place. There's a green one who sort of zooms off through the level and draws a racing line of quills for you to chase. So there's all sorts of different ones that pushes you in different ways to take risks.
Whoa.
And as you can imagine, if you hadn't triggered him, this bit will be a lot less chaotic.
Right. I would have died a long time ago.
It's really funny, like, in the office, you watch people playing the game, and, like, they kind of trigger these ghost quills, and all the quills are kicking off, and then they kill themselves, and they keep doing it over and over again, and it's like, you don't need to do this. It's
You
just
don't have to
quills.
do
Just
it,
like, they're
right.
like, I can't, I have to have the
Right.
money.
Plus, it looks so cool.
Yeah. Level is almost there.
Okay.
Gary's
He's ringing the bell.
He's got it.
he's going for it. He's going alone. Forget Laylee.
Oh, he almost. Oh, get the B.
And he no longer can rely on any of those other
Yes.
moves.
Nice one.
Nice job, Gary.
Good job. Nailed it.
Let's see who we got.
Good job. That's the
Zingari.
best.
This is
Hey,
actually
you got
Gary's
your, you
big,
got your
yeah.
Zingari.
Yeah,
that's your B. Well,
Very nice.
Harry and Gary from Platonic, thank you guys so much for this look at Yooka-Laylee and the Possible Lair, published by Team 17. Do you guys have any, when can we expect to see this game?
It's 2019, so we don't have an exact day, but 2019.
So coming later this year,
Yep.
Yooka-Laylee on the Impossible Lair. Again, thank you guys from
Thank you.
Platonic for
No,
stopping
thank
by.
you for having us, yeah.
Thank you, Kirk. And stay tuned. Indie Day rolls on. We'll be right back with a look from at RAD. So don't go anywhere. Thanks, guys.